All right, so we hit the overtime last night with Boston and Seattle. We're looking to do it again tonight with the LA Kings and the Calgary Flames. And pretty good value, actually, when you consider plus 170 with 1 period to go of a tie hockey game. It's like plus 320 before the game starts, plus 300, plus 320 in that range, whatever. So getting plus 170 in a 2-2 game going into the third period, I think is good value, especially in a game that feels like, it's such a coin toss, like anything can happen in this game. We're betting this game to go to overtime, plus 170. Well, whether it's 2-2, whether it's 3-3. But I think it gets to overtime, Cam. And in fact, I'm going to say that it remains 2-2 through this period.
I wouldn't be shocked either.
I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to bet under 6.5 in this game. I say it goes to – no, if it goes 3-3, though, we lose.
It's not going 3-3. If it's 3-2, 4-2. So as long as just keep it that way. I like our angle. I think it's going to be probably 2-2. But if it goes 3-2, maybe we get an empty netter and we win by the hook. I like that. I like 6.5 under 2. I'm playing it, and I'm going to play the draw. Done. It's the only way to do it.
Yeah, plus 170 be a nice hit. If we go 1-1, I'll take it. Whatever. We'll go under the 6.5. Hopefully we hit them both and it finishes 3-2 in overtime. But anytime, like I said, guys, if you're getting a plus 170 after 2 periods of play, plus money, you can't go wrong, right? In a close game. So we're not going to have a tie game in the Stars and the Avs. It's 5-1. The Avs are starting to pull away right now. We'll welcome Sirius here. Shout out to everybody joining us on Sirius XM channel 159. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. It's scoreless in the Bay right now between the Devils and the Sharks. In-game total, 5.5. New Jersey Devils and the Sharks scoreless with 7 minutes left in the first period to play. The Vancouver Canucks are up 2-0 on the Penguins right now. We're on the Canucks, and we're on under 6.5. The in-game total is currently 6.5. If you're just joining us right now, we took the Kings and the Flames to go to overtime, plus 170. They're tied at 2 right now with 16 minutes left. You can still get in at plus 150 right now. We are in a DGen mode here tonight. And I've actually got a college baseball bet going on here, Cam, that I didn't even get to, that I forgot about. I didn't forget about it, but I was sort of looking. We've been caught up with the hockey, but I've got Loyola Marymount and Cal State Fullerton under 10.5. It's 5-3 right now. I'm in trouble. It's 5-3.
Oh, yeah. 2 guys.
And it's in the 6th. Yeah.
No outs. You know the way these guys blow up after their starters, too. Not over, but
no, it could slow down. It could slow down.
Yeah. Look at Washington TCU, 7-7, bottom of the 11th. Tight one. Real tight.
I've been doing well with these college baseball unders. This one might burn me. Michigan and USC are playing in baseball right now. This is another one. Michigan had a 4-0 lead early in this game, like after the first inning, second inning type of deal. And the in-game total was 14.5. It's 12.5 now. Michigan, the Wolverines, are up on the USC Trojans. So I was actually, you know what? I'm an idiot. Earlier I was thinking, I'm like, why would Michigan be playing USC in baseball? They're in the same conference now.
Yeah, that's right. You said it. Feels weird.
This is the first time, though. This is the first one. Because, football hasn't started yet, and they're wrapping up the basketball. So I guess baseball, what are they in the conference now? This is a Big Ten game, Michigan and USC. Just feels, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
I feel stupid. I got to be honest with you. I'm not down with this conference realignment crap. And I don't know what we're going to do for these. Gabe, think about the travel of these
Big Ten baseball.
Yeah, Big Ten baseball. What USC and Michigan?
Well, USC.
What? Oh, my God. It just doesn't even feel right, sound right. It doesn't make sense geographically.
You know what would be weird, though? It would be walking down Sunset Boulevard or walking like you're going to be walking in L.A. You're going to say you're in Big Ten country now.
Yeah. Doesn't feel it, no. It'll always be packed.
Big Ten countries like Iowa.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
Big Ten countries like Illinois and Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan and all this. This is just stupid.
It is.
It's not really college though anymore. It's just like It's a professional league. I mean, you've merged the superpowers, and they're going to continue to do it. They'll just continue to merge until the other remaining schools will just have to start their own. They should already do it, to be honest. The Boise State guy actually wanted to do it. He was smart. He was telling the other schools that basically he's told them that. He goes, listen, I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're just going to box everybody out all the time. That there should be like an NIT of football.
It's a good idea.
Like where like teams are getting screwed, where you're never going to get invited like ever. No matter what you do, you're never going to get invited. And there's a lot of schools like that, right? Like if you're in the MAC or something, you're never playing in the playoffs.
Well, how does this work then? Like in the past, where we have Notre Dame as an independent, one of those other teams, like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things, like you're going to have to be independent, or you're going to have to join a conference to create. What do you do in those situations? Because they're just basically they're one-offs of each other. They're not going to join any conference. So how do you move forward? You just schedule anybody that you want and get paid for these games like they did?
Yeah.
That's what has to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
The powers, the big time schools already kind of do it already anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see the I don't want to get too legal and stuff, but there's a big lawsuit going on right now with the University of Tennessee and the NCAA. And basically Tennessee is telling the NCAA, you don't have any power over us, and we'll do what we want, and we'll pay who we want, and we're going to whatever. And the court sided with Tennessee.
That's the right
decision.
Like,
so at least the beginning. It's not, they agreed to Tennessee's argument or whatever. Pittsburgh just scored 2-1 right now. Oh boy, our total 6.5 is doomed in this game. It's gonna open up.
Yeah. I agree. I don't want to get out of it though. You know, it's like one of those things. Maybe it'll slow down. It's not over yet, but yeah, it looks like there's a lot of offense so far.
There's 2 outs in this baseball game now too in this inning. I might get out of this without giving up a run here. That'll be big if it stays at 8. 5-3 right now. Cal State, Fullerton. Man, this college baseball stuff is pretty cool, and there's just a lot of it for the bettors this year. So if you're up in the late night hours and stuff, we suggest you start following some college baseball. I'll tell you what, there's a Wake Forest is a team. We talked about this with Lou a little bit. Wake Forest have a pitcher that's like serious stuff that they're going to win every time that this kid is on the hill. So like I said, we'll start to dial in on this stuff a little bit, but it's fascinating when you see the college baseball scene. Like these teams are big time, Cam. Like in basketball, they're minnows, but Cal State Fullerton in baseball is a serious power.
Yeah, I'm right there. Guys in the majors.
This is a big time game. Loyola Marymount versus Cal State Fullerton. This is like an elite baseball game. Like these are like big leaguers and stuff, you know?
Yep. They go to the majors.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
This sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I think we have a Sherapan in attendance in Vancouver at the hockey game. I just saw a woman and a child wearing Vancouver Canuck jerseys and Pittsburgh Penguin hats. There's got to be a Sherapan.
That's Dave. Yeah, that's great.
Does Dave have a relative? I swear to God, there's a shot. I wish I had still a shot. I'd send it to him. Say, dude, is this like a cousin of yours or something like this? All kidding aside, I guess there's actually, you know what? There's
Talking connection. He used to play for the Penguins, right? Rick Talkin.
Who?
Penguins, maybe they're the Rick Talkin.
No,
Coach,
I was going to say that Sidney Crosby scored the winning goal in Vancouver for Team Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's a big Crosby fan. The family's. Is there anybody from another thing too? For all I know, it could be someone's relative.
Could be, but I like your angle. I agree. They score a winning goal for Canada in Vancouver. But the Sheraffans.
No, my angle, the Sherapan angle was the best one, I think. So I saw Dave tonight. He was rocking like a Leafs jersey and a Vegas hat tonight.
Oh yeah, I know. I did a show with him before.
He decides to wear like both teams that are playing now. He doesn't even pick a team. He just wears them both. It's like pick one team at least, bro. Like you didn't wear them both. Like,
yeah, that's the worst is game. Is he going to do the people who have like the Suns playing? The worst is when they do the shirt, red here, black. You know what I mean? Like right down the middle. Oh yeah, my son plays for the Falcons.
Yeah, but that's only that's acceptable if it's your family. If it's your kid, that's acceptable.
Yeah, but not for a regular human being. That's pretty weak. If you got no skin in the game or no kids.
Didn't AJ Hawk used to have that? I think AJ Hawk's sister's married to Brady Quinn or something. I swear there was she had a she had an Ohio State Notre Dame shirt or something.
Yeah, something weird.
I'm pretty sure. I'm thinking back. Yeah, there was the half and half jersey. But it doesn't work. You can't wear, in my opinion, and that's how you get a meme on Twitter. You can't wear the two. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like you can't walk around wearing a San Francisco 49er jersey and a Kansas City Chief hat all week, Super Bowl week.
No, you can't. That would actually disgust me.
You can't wear both. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Dave does.
I'm not saying he did that. No, I don't. I'm not calling him out for that. He's confused with these other games, but he did it. The only time he crossed the line, and he did cross the line when I told him, I said, really, you can't do this one. The Leafs and the Knights, whatever, but it was in the playoffs when the Dodgers were playing the Giants.
Yes.
He wore like a Dodger jersey and a giant hat. I was like, dude, like, they hate each other. You can't merge the two. You know what I mean? You can show up like wearing Bloods and Crips. You can get shot. Like, you know what I mean? You got to wear blue or red, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to pick one or the other. Like, you just live with the consequences.
That's the best. You're out there. Bloods, Crips. No,
I got you both. Got one bandana and the other. Hey, guys. Like,
hey, guys, I represent both entities. No, that does not work. That means 2 bullets. Anyway, yeah, you're right. Even Vegas and the Leafs is pretty bad, but it's a Western Conference Eastern. Like, if he did like Canucks and Seattle Kraken, I have a problem with that. That's 2 Western teams. That's unacceptable to me. Unacceptable.
You'll notice I don't have any Kraken anything.
I don't mind the Kraken though. I like the. You're in Canucks country. You can't be.
But there's stores. They sell all kinds of Kraken crap here. And I think to myself, I'm like, you think they're selling Vancouver Canuck jerseys in sports stores in Seattle? No, they're not. So don't buy them here. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But because a team has a cool jersey, I don't need to buy it. Doesn't mean I like them.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a Kraken fan at all.
Their apparel's nice though. You'd have to say for a new franchise in the league, their stuff's pretty cool.
They have cool jerseys. Yeah. But I'm not, like I said, like I'd rather you know what I mean? I have no beef with the Kraken. I have nothing against them, but I didn't jump on their bandwagon or anything like that. Like I was never I thought they would be good though. And expansion teams always win. So it's another thing too, whether it's by whatever coincidence, how it happens all the time. But every new team that has come into the league has won the Stanley Cup, except one. The San Jose Sharks.
Yep.
They're the only ones. The Ducks won the Stanley Cup. They came into the league. The Lightning won. Arizona didn't actually, the Coyotes, but they're kind of whatever. They're not.
I'm going to make a prediction, Gabe.
They moved. They're not the same team.
If the Sharks beat the Devils tonight, I know this is crazy, but sometimes my crazy things happen. Lindy Ruff's fired this week or next week. He's done. That's my prediction.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that somebody's going to pay the price there. They've had an underachieving. I got to be honest, there's nothing against Lindy Ruff, but it's kind of like having Jeff Fisher or something as your coach in 2024.
It's a great point. I couldn't agree more. Like a lot of these
you're kind of like, dude, like the guy was the coach 25 years ago. Yeah. Like he's a coach in the old people were getting punched in the head days. It's a modern NHL. Like Lindy Ruff's not the guy to communicate. Like I'm just me. How is he going to communicate with some 22-year-old kid?
Yes. Think about it. They have a lot of young players and international players. He's not the man for the job, man. It's a bad fit. It doesn't make sense.
That's the NHL though. But look at Rick Bowness. I would probably say the same thing about Bowness, but
Bowness has adapted. He's adapted.
But Bowness is more chill than Lindy Ruff too. You're right. It's a different personality. Bowness. Bowness is more one of the boys. Actually, he's like, let's have a beer. Like, yeah, he's more one of the guys. Lindy Ruff's too rough. Part of like his name. Like it won't work.
Rick Bowness.
Like I said, I was surprised he's still around.
His health, Gabe. Like the problem was Rick Bowness had a health scare. He had to change. They said, you got to calm down, man. Like you got to chill out. Like everything's going to be okay. You still want to coach? Lindy, that's the whole thing. So Bowness actually, by getting a little bit sick, it's changed his routine and he's more, he is way more chill than he used to be. But you can't be a coach to go wild on guys all the time. He just ripped his team too, and now they're still losing in San Jose. It's not good for business.
I didn't buy in that the Devils were all this, though, anyways. I think people overhyped them.
I did.
You know, Hughes got hurt. That hurt them, obviously. They were flawed. They had bad goaltending. Everybody knew they had bad goaltending coming into the year. Everybody knew they were bad defensively coming into the year. And they play in a tough division, Cam. Like, they play a lot of tough teams. So, you know what I mean? It wasn't going to be some big party for them, I didn't think.
Yeah, I thought they'd be better because they're young players. You said it. That injury was huge. But you're right. You can't win with Vanacek and Dawes as your goalie. They're probably one of the worst tandems in the league. And yeah, it's really caught up with them. I expected way more from New Jersey. I'm not afraid to admit it. I thought they'd be a contender this year. They're just not a good hockey team.
Texas Tech have cut the lead to 15 with 140 left. So we talked about the plus 20.5. 79-64 right now with 133 left. Still 2-1 in Vancouver right now.
Calgary
Checking
scored.
In. Oh, that's not good.
So now we need 4-2. See, that's the thing. No Kings goal. If we win 4-2, we'll hit them. We'll at least get it back with the under 6.5.
Yeah, we'll hit the 6.5. Or if they score 3-3, we hit the tie at plus 170.
Yeah, that's true, but not the total. Can't win them all.
No, we're not going to go 2-0.
Correct.
Unfortunately. No, that's not going to happen. I am on, like I said, I am on the, oh boy, every time I look up, like Pittsburgh are nearly scoring, but they didn't.
Look up.
They didn't right now. There's a save.
Don't look up. Change the channel. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see what we got here.
Good stuff here. 2-1. The total is slowed down in this hockey game. So we're at the half right now in Oklahoma City. It's sort of playing right to the number right now. I'm on the Houston Rockets. The Rockets were getting an even 10. They're down by 10 at the half, so it's not trending in the right direction for us right now. They're getting 13.5 points if you want to jump in.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Pittsburgh Penguins tied the game at 2. They had a 2-man advantage. And then, boom, what good teams do, they responded. An unbelievable solo effort by JT Miller. He basically swatted the puck down at center ice, took off on a breakaway, took like a snap wrist shot from like 15 feet out, which I always tell people is impossible to stop. I don't know why more people don't do that when they do the shootout. And he rifled it in. Sniper. A shorthanded goal, no less. Pittsburgh are still on the power play right now. They had a 2-man advantage, then it was down to 1 after they scored the goal. Vancouver just scored, so we got a wild one going on in BC right now in the NHL. College basketball, we're at the half right now. Colorado State, Nevada is up 39-28. Let's bring in Big Man on campus right now to talk some college basketball. Big Man, always a pleasure. Good to see you tonight. How you doing? Nevada, Colorado State, somewhat of a disappointing first half for the Rams.
Very. This is a team that's been elite at home, and Nevada's playing without their best player, and they have been unbelievable in the first half. I mean, this is definitely a very surprising result. It's been a surprising night. I mean, Kansas went down at home. I mean, they continue to struggle without Kevin McCullough. Wisconsin lost to lowly Indiana. It's been a weird night around the world.
Speaking of weird,
what happened with that game? Was it fire alarm, Gabe?
Yeah, in Indiana and Wisconsin, they evacuated the arena in the middle of the game. They're playing the game, and then suddenly the cops are like, all right, everybody's got to get out. There was no security threat because you could see they're evacuating kids, and some kids like shooting at the rack and stuff. He's like goes on the court and starts playing around. They're like, they're evacuating. These students like started going on the court, and the cop, like this cop came up. They're like, "Hey, get the hell off the court!" Right?
That's awesome.
So, the alarms went off in the building. So I don't know. There was a tornado warning or something, but then I saw after that it was deliberately done. So I don't know what the end result was with that, but there was no security threat or anything. Indiana won by 4 in the end, though. They ended up 74-70.
I also see that Wake Forest lost. Just a horrible loss for them. I mean, coming off beating Duke, they're right on the bubble. You go and lose.
These teams always lose after. They always lose after these big wins in college,
Yes, That's the angle.
Those jackass kids ran on the court. That's what they get. I want to get your take on that, big man. Yes, come on, Kim. These jackass kids.
Yeah.
What's the
celebrating? Finding a team off of being ranked for the first time in a while. Indiana State got ranked, lost. South Florida just got ranked. They got to play Charlotte on Sunday on the road.
Kind of like Charlotte.
They'll lose, yeah.
Yep,
Good angle. It's the same thing all the time. You see it with the you get ranked number 1. It used to be that way. You get ranked number 1, you would always lose on that Monday night game after right away. Teams would lose after, but that's amazing that Wake lost. I'm not surprised, but Notre Dame are just so bad. But what do you think, big man, of the court storming situation in college basketball? What should be done about it?
Well, I think it's watered down at this point as far as actually doing it. We've seen it happen a lot recently where it doesn't really make sense. I mean, teams are doing it just because they beat a rival or something like that. A lot of the leagues, outlawed it anyway. I mean, the SEC, you can't do it. It's not like during the NCAA tournament you rush the court. I mean, it's just not something you do. It's obviously a safety issue. I mean, you have thousands of kids at one point running on a court through steps and down ramps. I mean, you're bound to have something bad happen. It's amazing that nothing's happened to this point where someone gets really hurt or trampled or something. I think you probably have to outlaw it at this point. And now that it's happened to someone like Duke, I'm surprised it's not a death penalty case if you rush the court going forward.
If Coach Krzyzewski was still around, there'd be real hell to pay. Like, this would be done. They'd be like, if anyone ever steps on the court again, you're getting shot.
Put him in jail. That was the best. What did you do with the kid?
Remember, Coach, he even looked like a devil, like a blue devil. Imagine Coach K's face if this happened in front of him.
Devil.
He'd be like...
he morphed into a blue devil.
But both times, and I'm not blaming the player, because I think these students nowadays are bigger jerks than they used to be. They used to sort of just run to their own team. Now they're almost looking for confrontation. But Caitlin Clark did kind of push the girl and kind of initiate the contact.
This kid.
And Filipowski, big man, the kid was going to run right past you. You're the one that sort of leaned into him. You tried to trip him. Let's just be real. He tried to trip the kid. That's what I saw. I think the kid on Duke tried to trip the Wake fan. They ended up colliding, and then all hell broke loose, and he twisted his knee. But I think if he just would have dodged the guy, he would have been fine, but he wanted to. But when you slow it in slow motion, it's easy for me to say that when you're on the court, like you said, big man, and you've got 3,000 dumbass kids running at you.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, it was a 4-point game. Wake was at the line. It was a 4-point game. Why doesn't he take the starters out? You're not going to win the game. There's 2 seconds left. You're not going to win the game. Yep. Take them out. Get them into an area where you can walk, someone over and protect all those people.
Great point.
I didn't think no one thought all hell would break loose like that. Those kids went crazy. And like you said, they were freaking favorites in the damn game.
Yeah, so it's like your top 10 player out of the game, He's not going to be let's just say it's a 3-point game. He ain't going to shoot the 3 anyway.
My deal is you get them off the court right after the game. You let the kids run on the court and stuff. I'm with you, though, big man. I think it's a stupid liability legally. It's like the Dallas Cowboys. I don't understand, for the love of God, how in 2024 the Dallas Cowboys open the doors and let people sprint into a general admission section.
It's like running of the Bulls, man. Somebody's going to break their neck.
It's like, are you kidding me? Like in a litigious, someone's going to get run over. Jerry, you're going to get sued for this. Like, someone's going to get trampled. You're going to get sued. I don't understand how they allow that.
This is not the running of the Bulls where you're going to get a horn in the ass, but that's just stupid. Another thing is, what do you do with certain floors, Morency? Like that Vanderbilt floor, the way it, like, if they ever get good, there's certain schools, Gabe, it's a pit. Certain teams have that weird, the sideline area. Somebody falls drunk there, they're going to break their neck. They're dead.
Look at
it's crazy.
Look at Minnesota. They have
Minnesota's got that too. Yes,
that drop at the bench. Like, I'm surprised nothing's happened. I'm blown away by it. And again, with all the as you guys said, all the liability you have now. I mean, it's a bad recipe. I'm surprised nothing's happened yet.
You think about it, like I said, like, to me, if you win the championship, fine. It's overdone, like you said, big man. Like, you're doing it every Saturday. It's like, Kansas State, we beat Kansas. You're supposed to beat them. They're your rivals. Like,
Listen,
act like you've been here before. But that's why these kids go to the schools, guys. That's why they go. They want that moment. They want to get wasted at the game, and I get their selfie out, and I ran on the field, I ran on the court after. That's what they love. That's what it is. Let's just be real. Like Dan Patrick said, man, they put it in the damn highlight reels. It's in, like, they sell it. You know what I mean? They can't say they don't like it.
You want to end court storming? And Bill has got a lot of crap for this, but make it the same rule. If you run on the floor during a game, that's trespassing. You're going to get arrested. You're going to go away for a night.
That's Pharrell's approach, Gabe. Jail.
Yeah,
he wants to arrest them.
I mean, but if it was in the second quarter, they would. Now because they won, you can do it.
That's a good point.
I love it.
No, you're right. If you run onto the field at a sporting event, like if you run onto the court of an NBA game, you're going to get arrested. Like, you'll get handcuffed and walked off the floor.
If you would have ran on the court of Duke Wake Forest in the second quarter, you would have got arrested.
Yeah.
But at the end of the game, you can do it.
No, but you're right. You're allowed. Like, they actually, security lets you. Like, it's sort of a, you know what I mean? Like the schools in football and stuff in these schools, they have safety monitors and stuff, right? Like, so they'll have people that are in charge. Right? You watch this section that makes people aren't getting trampled. And you'll see, like, some schools, like, are crazier than others when they storm on the field. But it's a problem. We're seeing it happen more and more now. Remember this past year, guys, in football, I think it was Ole Miss versus someone. I think it might have been Auburn. I don't know if you remember, big man. A kid turned around and punched one of the students. And the kid nearly pissed himself out of fear. The player turned around and the same thing. The player didn't have to start swinging at people, but same thing. A bunch of drunk kids were mouthing off to him and stuff around his face. That's the difference. Fans before would just sort of go and celebrate. Now they confront the visiting team and stuff. That's the big problem with this. Look at Cam Newton, bro. He got assaulted the 7-on-7 game the other day. This stuff happens everywhere.
Yeah, it's out of control. And you're right. They don't just run on the court now and celebrate. It's, you run over to the opposing team, you try to taunt them. And it's a messy
there's going to be a riot. They're going to do it at the wrong school, the wrong player. Someone's going to F around and find out. And there's going to be a big-time brawl.
When I was in high school, we had a local Division II team, and that happened. There was a riot between fans on the court. I mean, it's happened, and since to this day, it's been a different atmosphere at that game. So it could happen. I mean, I think eventually it would.
My favorite one was when Detroit Mercy snapped their 27-game losing streak, and the one fan ran out of the court.
That's amazing.
That was the best. There was
awesome.
One guy, Cam, he ran in the middle. He was like, yeah! He started hugging people. Yeah!
I love it.
That's
guy. Amazing.
There was 18 people in the entire arena. One guy ran out there. Yeah.
Hey, when we played hockey and stuff, those psycho mums and stuff, we used to have fights in the stands all the time. I told you, our coach got a kid threw a skate at a guy and cut his face. He went to jail. Yeah. Threw a skate at a guy. His head.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. We're going to get find out about Big Man's podcast, who he's talking to this week on the sit-down. But college basketball, 42-34 right now for Nevada. There's still 15 and a half left in this game, guys. Colorado State are suddenly getting 3.5 points in this game. The in-game total is 34 and a half. What do you think, Big Man? Can they get back in this thing against the Wolfpack here?
I think they can. I mean, they bridged the gap a little bit in the first couple of minutes here. Nevada just shot really well in the first half. You would figure Colorado State makes some adjustments. They are at home. I would think they win the game, but listen, they look like a really good team at times, and then look like a really bad team. But that's this division, this league. It's very good. It's top to bottom, very good. So I think they get back into the game. Absolutely.
Penn State. I had Penn State plus 9 tonight. They end up losing by 9. They end up getting the push. Yeah, it really was. And, we thought we could get it. The game squeezed over the number, but Penn State had been a pretty good play. We did cash tonight with BYU. You talked about that game earlier, Big Man. And this BYU team, this is better than past BYU teams. Like going on the road, winning games like this. They're an interesting team. I don't think they could win the NCAA tournament or anything, but how far do you think they could go, like in the NCAA tournament?
They're not a team I'm looking to bet due to the fact that they're like Creighton. They're very reliant on the three-point shot. If they're going in, they can beat anybody, and if they're not going in, they can lose to anybody. And that's why we've seen Creighton have these games where they'll
then
win.
You get in these strange courts they're not used to and stuff in the tournament. The shot doesn't fall.
The Creighton can win a game 98-90, and then they'll lose the next game 62-48 because they can't make any shots. So, yeah, with a team that has that three-point rate so high, very dependent on it, it's hard for me to get involved. You look at Kansas tonight, missed 12 free throws. They were 3 for 15 from 3. You just can't win games like that. You cannot miss 12, 13, 15 free throws in a game and expect to win, especially in the Big 12.
I'm not buying into Kansas, and their national championship odds are falling. The teams that I've watched, I swear I've been watching a lot of college basketball, at least like these big time teams, and they all have like weaknesses, right? Arizona turned the ball over too much. They don't really play defense. They're too erratic. Purdue, I just don't trust Purdue. Too erratic and inconsistent. Never get it done in big games. I hate to just be redundant, but it seems to me like UConn and Houston are the really only two good teams out there, to be honest. Seems like those two and Purdue and everybody else after. And like I said, Purdue have to prove it.
What do you guys think of Marquette as a big dog?
Yeah, listen, I like Marquette. I mean, they've kind of just been waiting in the weeds. They haven't been fully been healthy. I'll throw a team out. I've kind of just been really all in on this team all year. I think they have some really good – they had a lot of good experience early on, too. Tennessee, I know it's hard with them just because of Rick Barnes, but, I've always said defensively they're going to be elite. This year they're really good on offense, too. Dalton Connect.
Yeah, they have top
really
10
good.
in both, right? That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
They're top 10 offense and defense.
Yeah, and, look, they played Purdue, they played Kansas and North Carolina and lost all of them, but they got that experience, and they were right in every game for the most part. We've seen them beat Kentucky. We've seen them beat Alabama. They beat Illinois. This is a really good basketball team. Again, though, you're dealing with Rick Barnes. I've taken some shots kind of deeper.
The Matt Painter of the South.
Yeah, exactly. True.
I took some shots. Gonzaga, I think if they get into the tournament, they could be very deadly just because no one's really expecting much from them. Boise State's really good. I think they're a group out in the Mountain West I like a lot. Washington State, they're another team.
Washington State not getting any love.
No love.
No. Creighton's good as well, I think. It's hard.
For me, guys, it's Baylor at 40-1. Yeah. Only you look at Baylor, they can play with anybody. We just saw them. Look, you know what I mean? They just beat down TCU after they lose a gut-wrenching game that they could have played. They could have beaten Houston. Like, Baylor to me are as good as, like, that's good odds for a team that, in my opinion, can play with anybody in the country.
This is a big game.
Would you rather have Baylor than a lot of those teams, Gabe? I would.
Oh, yeah. Baylor.
I'd rather have Baylor than Kansas, and Kansas is 10 points less. Like, they're 35 instead of 45. I'd rather have Baylor.
And I've seen Baylor win before as well. They have the winning pedigree, but they can play with anybody. They're coming from the best conference. And it would be living dangerously, but Kentucky, big man, as well, are a pretty dangerous team. Like, you get them in a tournament. If they get a good draw, Kentucky could go to the Final Four. Like, they're another team that can beat anybody on any given night.
I bet this team, I mean, I think the first future I bet. This was like right after the NCAA tournament last season, because I had known they had 4 top 15 kids coming in. I knew they were going to have, an elite roster. Look, they're not good defensively, but roster-wise, I think they're as good an offense as anyone in the country. This kid, Reed Shepherd's electric. And I'll tell you what, that was a huge win for them tonight. Mississippi State's a good team. They're good at home. They're good on defense. And they were down for the most of that game, came back and found a way. Big game for them tonight. Those are the kind of games you stub your toe with a lot of the time in this conference. But Kentucky looks legit. Seems like they're starting to respond a little bit to the defensive stuff. Yeah, Kentucky's legit. Absolutely.
It's usually the other way, guys. Think about how many leads they've blown, like, the LSU game. And before, that's the thing. That was their MO. They have leads, and they let other teams come back in the second half. But that's good. See, that's a good sign, big man. I agree with that. They can turn that around.
So speaking of which, Colorado State have cut the lead to 5 right now.
Excellent.
42-37. They're getting 2.5. There's still 14 minutes left in this game.
Listen, get the lead by the 10-minute mark. That game could go any way we want. So I'll tell you one other team, guys. Dayton University.
These guys are rolling this year.
I'll tell you one thing. We forget about this. Remember when they had Obi Toppin? They didn't get to go to the NCAA tournament because the NCAA tournament was canceled. That team was historically good. Remember, they beat Kansas at the Maui Invitational. It's a huge, really good team. They never got to experience that. This team, I'm not saying is that team, but they're really good. Deron Holmes is nasty. And they play a really weird pace, very slow. They're good on defense. If I told you they were a top 20 offense in America, would you believe me? No, but they are. They're legit. I like Dayton.
What about that conference, though, big man? Because I know, remember, George Mason was that Cinderella team. Dayton had that's the thing. They have a couple losses. I know you can't be perfect, but the competition in the A10, you think that hurts them, or what do you think about that conference? Because
I definitely think it does. I will say Richmond's good. VCU's always tough. I mean, losing to George Mason's a tough one, but you look at it in the non-conference. They lose to Houston on a neutral, lose to Northwestern on a neutral, beat SMU, beat Cincinnati. They have some decent wins. Look, this is
I don't think it matters as much, guys, in the tournament. Look at FAU last year. They got to the Final Four, right? San Diego State, too. Mountain West is good, but you know what I'm saying? I don't think you have to be a power conference. I think it's kind of the draw.
And Dayton is, they're a mid-major, but they have top-level talent. They can play with anybody, Dayton. I think they're a real dangerous group as well.
There's odds up to make the Final Four, which is kind of tough because, there's no bracket. Once you see the bracket, you can really see the path. But I'm looking at Dayton's odds here, 25-1 to make the Final Four.
I like that. I
pretty good odds.
Boise to make the Final Four as well. I think I got 55-1. I also took Washington State around 20-1. So I have a couple Final Four ones.
For people tuning in, the Final Four odds: UConn to make the Final Four plus 110, Purdue to make the Final Four plus 160. And as far as Purdue is concerned, in the last 8 NCAA tournaments, Purdue's only gotten out of the Sweet 16 once. Yeah, sorry, big man. Go on.
No, sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Let me give you one other team, and I'm going to ask you if there's odds on this team on the Final Four mark. McNeese State.
I'm not laughing at the pick. I'm like, I don't think there's going to be.
It.
I'm looking. All right. No, maybe I'm scrolling. All right. I'm going to go to the bottom. Let me go up here. Here's Vermont at 250 to 1. So if they have Vermont, they have to have McNeese, UNC Asheville.
McNeese State has lost one time since Thanksgiving. Their starting five is mostly high major kids, and they're going to win the Southland Conference. They're way better than everybody else. If they get the NCAA tournament,
they're not listed.
They're open.
That's unreal.
Whenever they are, I'll be interested. That's a good roster. They have kids from TCU on that team. They have kids from Tulsa on that team. They have kids from Mississippi on that team. They have legit talent on that team. And Will Wade is a good coach. Will Wade should be a Division I high-level coach, but due to some goofy FBI involvement and getting involved with something we now is legal in college basketball, paying players, he's not allowed to coach at high-level basketball now.
That is ridiculous. He, like you said, he got thrown under the bus for something that everybody does now. No, I'm looking right now, though. They're not up. So Purdue's plus 160. Houston are plus 170. Arizona plus 275. Tennessee plus 275. Auburn 4 to 1. North Carolina plus 400. Can't dismiss them. Iowa State
McNeese,
plus 425.
250 to 1. McNeese State.
Where's that at?
My FanDuel book in Ontario, so I don't know if they have one in like whatever state you're in, but they're 250
to 1.
Yeah.
Just to get to the Final Four.
No, that's
make it to the Sweet 16.
No, I gotta find those odds. They have the same odds as Iowa, 250 to 1, Grand Canyon, 250 to 1, Drake, 250 to 1, Butler, 250 to 1, Bradley. Yeah, they're in that category, like way at the bottom here. That's unreal.
Wow.
But that's to win the national championship or to make the Final Four.
I got to make the Final Four. Yeah, this is futures, Gabe. So yeah,
I would think it's not far off from that price.
Final Four? Okay, I'm going to find the Final Four for you. Hold on. I'm going, scrolling.
McNeese, 25 to 1. Final Four.
95 to 1 to make the Final Four.
Not bad. 100 to 1
big price.
Yeah.
I mean, you could start hedging in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, at that point.
It's got to win a couple of games out of the gate.
I'm telling you right now, they can play with big teams. I'm telling you. They are legit, man. That roster is legit.
Swing for the fences. 84-72 for the Oklahoma City Thunder over the Houston Rockets. It's late in the third quarter of play, so they're sort of hanging around. We're getting 10 with the Rockets. Oklahoma City Thunder are minus 11.5 right now. And the Miami Heat have come all the way back to take a lead over the Portland Trailblazers. They're winning 80-76 right now. They're minus 5.5 in game. Fresno State have a 2-point lead late on Utah State right now. It's upset city. Dogs are barking tonight. So Fresno's up 61-59 with 53 seconds left. Nevada is up 48-41 over Colorado State with 12 minutes left. Still a lot of basketball left. And we should know, even with 12 minutes left, Colorado State are in the bonus now. So we're going to have free throws from here on out, actually. I think the in-game over 136.5 will be in play here. I'm going to jump in on this right now as we come up to the break. We'll wrap up with Big Man and Cam on the other side. We got Wes Clayton stepping up and in at level 3. We've got some combine, NFL draft talk, and some raids to get to. This is Sports Rage.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
This sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. We're into the 3-minute warning here. 84-74 into the fourth quarter. NBA basketball, Oklahoma and Houston. Houston are sort of hanging around. We'll see if they can get back in this thing for real, or we can cover. We're not going to get the over. It's 215.5 right now in game. Fresno's up 63-62 on Utah State with 8 seconds left. Big man, before we get you out of here, we didn't get to the San Jose State game. San Jose State, San Diego State. San Diego State are laying 19.5 points in game right now. They're up by 7. It's 29-22. They're at the half already. So do you think they're going to murder them in the second half, or is this going to be one of the nights where the Dogs cover in the Mountain West?
Well, they've had no trouble defending. They just can't make any shots. And this is the problem sometimes with the Aztecs. They struggle to score. But, look, they're really good at home. They're one of the most dominant teams at home in the country. I would have to think they clamp down. But the under looks probably pretty good here. I don't know if San Jose gets to 50 in this game. This is
Remember the last time, guys, I bet San Jose game, we were on the show and Rob Vino was there. And I'm like, hey, they were tied at the half and ended up losing by 22. That's San Jose State. Like, they could fall apart so damn quick.
Yeah, they're a loser team.
They are.
Yeah, these games can fall apart in the second half. 52-43 right now for Nevada. Still 11:43 left. I talked about liking that total of 136.5. They reposted it right now.
I played it when you said that.
Yeah, you see, big man, it's 143.5 right now.
I took 137.5.
The pace is really the pace is picked up. Like I said, both teams are in the bonus with 11.5 minutes left. So we're going to be free throw city from here on out, which will help the total. Cam, the San Jose Sharks not looking now. Devils up 3-1.
Yeah, it was. Thank God I won my first period stuff because the ship is sinking.
3-2 for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
Big man, before we get you out of it, we got about 15 seconds. What do you got on the podcast this week?
I interviewed a member of the Blood Street Gang who was recently in a picture with Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto scammer, and we talked about their time in prison together. So,
that should be interesting.
Fun.
Yeah, he said he's a weird dude, quote, right? That should be, I'd like to find out.